Hello, my name is Sam Kim, and welcome to the APA 6th edition Citations Workshop. With me in this workshop is Instructional Services Librarian Jessica Keebler. This workshop is in collaboration with the Writing Center and their coordinator Kate Mulholland. And in this workshop, we will cover all aspects of APA 6th edition citation, and this will include references list, in-text citation, and formatting. So to start things off, in the references list, in any APA paper, you'll need some information that is pretty much universal regardless of format. And those bits of information are the authors, the publication dates, and the titles. Now, depending on the medium of your source, you will need additional bits of information. And this table highlights what you would need. So for books, you would need the publisher name and publisher location. Usually it'll be a city and a state or a city and a country. And a publisher name would just be some publisher or publishing group. If you were citing a book chapter, so if you only used one book chapter out of an entire book, then you would cite the book chapter, in which case cite the book chapter. But if you were citing multiple points in one book, so over several chapters, then it's more practical to cite the entire book, in which case you do not have to cite a chapter title. Additionally, if you're using a specific edition or version of a book, you would have to provide the edition or version number. For periodicals or any publication released on a semi-regular basis, so this includes newspapers, magazines, and journals, the additional information you would need is as follows. So you would need the publication title, so that would go along the line of like Time Magazine, New York Times, Washington Post, New England Journal of Medicine, just along that line. Most periodicals will have a volume and issue number or some variation of that, and those would be required as well if they are print articles. If the publication was produced online, it will not have that information. Now, unique to journals is the DOI number, and the DOI number must be included with any journal article citation. And that is the unique identifier for journal articles compared to other periodicals. And for websites, if you are citing something in a website that isn't just text, so an image, video, graphic, then you would have to provide the format of the file. So it'd be image for an image, or painting, video, data set. However, if you're citing only the text in the article, you do not have to include the file format information. Access date is also important, but this is conditional in terms of the application. If what you are citing is archived, then you don't really have to provide the access date, but if it isn't archived, then you would have to provide it, as anything on the internet is subject to change. Nothing is static. And this is also to highlight that the information you cited was accessible at that date in the event that it is no longer accessible. And for all online sources, you would have to provide the URL. So right here is an example of a references list. Now, references should be organized alphabetically by author's last name. However, you do not reorganize the author names in each source. So for example, in the second source that you see in the references list, it starts with Gigliano, but Bella Stella is the fourth name in. So I do not reorganize that because that author name order was predetermined by the authors. And for future reference, the first author listed in any source is usually the one that came up with the idea or brains. Additionally, they might have contributed the most to the source. And then the last author would be the senior most member of the project or the host of the facilities used for the research. Now, if you look closely at the first source, you would notice an ellipsis or ... between the sixth author and the last author. So in APA 6th edition, if any source has 8 or more authors, the first 6 authors are listed, and then the last author. So all the authors between number 6 and the last one are replaced with an ellipsis, and this is just to save on space. Now regarding the rest of the reference, sentence case is used unless it is a proper noun where the text comes immediately after a colon. So obesity is capitalized, Saudi Arabia because it is a proper noun, and then is there a role for leptin, is capitalized because it succeeded a colon. Now for other fonts, the journal title or publication title will be italicized, and it will remain the capitalization that it would normally have since it is a proper noun. So Annals of Saudi Medicine retains its capitalization. The volume number will also be italicized. However, the issue number will retain normal font and be placed in parentheses. If you do have the page number, usually available for print publications, you'll provide that right after the issue number. And to cap things off when citing a journal article, the DOI number would be at the very end. Now looking at the second reference, you would notice that it is an online journal publication due to the lack of the volume and issue number that could be found on the first source, but it also has a DOI number. And the third reference in this list is an example of a book. So the book title, Critical Environmental Communication, is italicized. And then we have Lanham, Maryland, which is publisher location, and Rowan and Littlefield Publishing Group as the publisher. And then the last source is an example of how you would cite a website. For websites, italics are not used unless you're citing a specific image or graphic, in which case the title of that image or graphic would be italicized. Moving on to in-text citations, there are 3 methods for citing an APA in text, and this is in order of frequency of use. So method A is parenthetical. This is going to be the most commonly used, and we have method B for narrative, and method C, which is just a variation of narrative. Parenthetical citations are the most frequently used because they're generally always right, as it contains all necessary information for an in-text citation, which is parentheses, author, comma, year, and if you are citing a page, then it would be author, year, page. Whereas narrative citations are used if some part of the citation is mentioned in text. So if I mention the author's name, then I'll just put year in parentheses, and this is to eliminate any redundancy. So some examples of in-text citations. So the first one is an example of parenthetical. As you can see at the end, you have the author and the year in parentheses. The second one is an example of narrative, as the author names are all listed. Notice how and is spelled out rather than the use of an ampersand. So ampersands are only used when using parenthetical or in the references list. Otherwise, you would spell out the word and. And the third example is a variation of the second example. It's pretty much narrative citations, but all the information was listed, so there are no parentheses. I would still cite this source in my references list, starting with G, because Ligliano. And the final source is an example of parenthetical, but using the et al. Shorthand. So for in-text citations, if one source has more than 3 authors and you're using parenthetical, you just provide the first author and then et al. But if you're using narrative, then it would have to have more than 6 authors, and then in which case you would use first author, et al, and so on. So for formatting an APA, there are some universal rules. Cover page is necessary, although for students in their coursework, professors may put their own spin on it. Generally, a cover page will have a title, a running head, the author's name, or your name, the institution, and the page number. Now, regarding formatting, APA, like with most other citation styles, they require using double space, and this is mainly to make it easier to read and edit the paper. And for APA citation styles, they do have some rules for headings and sections. So the hierarchy of headings comes in 5 levels in APA 6th edition. And those levels are level 1, centered, bold, and title case headings. Level 2 is left aligned, bold, title case. And starting from level 3, it gets a little interesting. It's indented, bold, sentence case, and it ends with a period. Now this is going to be important because starting from level 3 onward, your statement would start immediately after this heading in the same line. Level 4 is pretty much level 3, but italicized, and level 5 is level 4, but without bold. So some examples of this. So as you can see in the example, methods, literature review, it's centered, bold, title case, so that would be level 1. And then we have population, subheading, subtheme, which is left aligned, but bold and title case, so that's level 2. Starting from young adults, and it says start the sentence here, that's an example of level 3. It's indented, it's bold, but because it ends with a period, the intention is you'd start that section in that sentence, or in that on that same line. Whereas for level 2 and 1, you would start your paragraph as a new paragraph, new line. So when abbreviating in APA, the rule is to spell out the term that you plan on abbreviating at the first mention of it, and then every subsequent appearance of that term would be abbreviated. So as an example, functional magnetic resonance imaging, which is also known as fMRI, I would have to spell that word out first, or phrase out first, and then provide the abbreviation in parentheses, and then every subsequent mention of that, I could just say fMRI. This comes at a cost in some cases. So if multiple terms share the same abbreviation and you have to use those terms in one paper, then only one word or one phrase would be assigned that abbreviation. So for example, the American Psychological Association is APA, but the American Payroll Association is also APA. So if I mention both associations in one paper, only one of them could be APA and the other could not. Abbreviating also applies to in-text citations. So if I'm citing a professional organization or a governmental body, like the American Psychological Association or the Center for Disease Control, I would have to spell it out and then abbreviate it, and then I can start abbreviating it in my citation, usually parenthetically. Finally, this is an example of a cover page in APA 6th edition. So at the very top, you'll see the text running head. That's where your running head would go, and you have to include the text running head for the cover page. And then in all caps is the shorthand version of the title of my paper. The title would just be a summary of your paper or your findings. And then you would provide your name and your institutional affiliation. Now after that, on the second page, and from there onwards, the term running head is taken out, but you still retain the actual running head, so example paper for Site 307, and this would apply from pages 2 onwards. Now for any questions regarding APA citations, feel free to reach out to the libraries at asklibrary.pace.edu. Thank you.